Welcome back, you filthy exiles. So, melee is not dead. In fact, it now takes the form of a shield-toting asshole that just bashes everything to shit. So, what have I done here since the last video, which was, I think, yesterday or the day before? Well, number one, we got rid of the bleed spectral shield throw because I was like, that's just not good enough. We committed to shield crush. And that's exactly what we're gonna fucking play here, and that's exactly what we're doing. So, this pretty much, right now this setup, tooltip hits about 39,000 idle in blood stands, if I'm in the screen, nearly 50k. I've gotten it hit to hit tooltip just about 112,000 DPS. And that's with totems up, Ancestral Protector, and then Val Haste as well. And then also the passives off of the Ascendancy tree for the Gladiator. But we'll talk about that more very shortly. So, what have I done here since? Well, let's just look at gearing wise, and I'll put a POB in the description. Again, the POB is not pulling in the shield crush, because it's not yet in path of building as far as I'm aware. So, right now we're running the Prismatic Eclipse, so no change there. All green sockets for the attack speed. Attack speed is really important, I think. At this state, currently 2.98 with totems, goes up to 3.53, and then this gives it another 26% on top of that, whatever that is. So what, it would get close to 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, so that's quite fast for shields, considering we're hitting things with shields. But so Prismatic Eclipse, all green sockets, you want that attack speed, 36% attack speed. Pretty much the strongest sword on this build. I don't know how I'm going to top this. I'm going to craft something, but it's got to have a good attack speed, and then it would have to have physical damage multi, and this just has really good base physical damage. Honestly, I don't even know if I'm going to change from this sword because it's just so damn powerful. Helm, again, just all resist helm, life, pretty much all there is to it. I did get a 6-link chest for like 30 chaos. These were not expensive at all. Yeah. So we'll talk about the sockets soon. Amulet, I am running cleaving, and I'll talk about why I'm running cleaving very shortly, but this is just doing pretty much all attributes, resistances, life, pretty shit life roll, and we've still got 5,000 life, so we're doing pretty well in that department. Shield, still running my Magna Eclipse, but I want to get a shield with at least 2,000 armor or 2,200 armor at this stage, because that's going to amp my damage up through the roof, and we're running Resolute Technique. So flat damage scaling is pretty much the name of the game. I am running Hemophilia gloves, and there is a reason why I'm doing this. So basically, with these gloves and mixed with the point in the skill tree known as Bloodletting, you do 40% increased flat attack damage against enemies that are bleeding. We're not even worried about the bleeding stat. We just want enemies to bleed. That's it. And when we've got 100% bleed chance, so chance to inflict bleeding, 79%, we've got a pretty bloody good chance of proccing bleed on enemies. And that's where we want to be. So right now, we're doing pretty good damn bleeding. And because enemies will generally be bleeding, because you hit so fast, this also gives you bleed pop. So enemies will explode, which is that popping thing you saw at the start, when they and deal 5% of their maximum health as physical damage when you kill them. So basically, as you kill enemies, they explode, they do more damage. So it's basically like Explodey Chest, a really cheap version of Explodey Chest, but works really well in this build. Now the reason why we use cleaving on our amulet, because again, this does 30% increased damage with hits and elements against bleeding damage. So we've got 30% increased damage against bleeding enemies here, and then we also get another 40% increased attack damage against bleeding enemies here. So this actually does a hell of a lot of damage as an overall. Now I may change the anoint, but not at this stage. I'm pretty happy with it. Ring, we've got just a sort of catch-all ring, nothing special, with flat physical damage. Eventually this will be steel rings. We do have Lahoop of All still, because it's just a really good ring, and it's really hard to replace out of this build right now, because it's so damn consistent. It has all resist, it has flat 25% damage, physical damage to attacks, really good ring. Victory, we've just got a leather belt, just covers off on all the bases. That's pretty much all there is to it. You probably could use a cloth belt because of the physical damage increase, but leather belt gets my health up higher, and that's what I'm interested in. Boots, again, just, you know, really knock them around boots. Eventually we're going to get elusive and things like that. Maybe not elusive, actually, because we don't crit. So we'll have a think about that when I get there. But anyway, boots right now, doing pretty well. Just gives us health, resistances, all the rest. Now, flasks. Quicksilver flask of adrenaline. Pretty good. This is the important one. So there was a nerf done to the Lion Eyes Raw, but there is a way to get around it. So there are the new orbs, and we'll just go into the stash.
Do this just yet.
So there are these new orbs. I can't remember. They're not the instilling orbs, but they're this greenish, grayish orb here. If you smack that orb onto your Lion Eyes flask, Lion's Raw, sorry, you can actually get a modifier that you get a 42% increased effect on the flask, and you can keep spamming this until you get it. Now the caveat, the trade-off, is that instead of generating charges, you no longer generate charges when you use the flask. But it doesn't really matter because you're going to generate those charges back as you go anyway. 42% increased effect on the melee physical damage that you get is not too bad with Lion's Eye Raw. Gives you a really good damage buff. Even though they did nerf the living shit out of this flask, that's one way to get around that. Now I am just using a basalt flask because I like taunt, and this one also gives me leech, and also get charges when I take critical strikes, and I'm always going to be taking critical strikes because I'm max block. Blood of the Karui, just really good survivability. And I do have a staunching flask to stop bleed, because bleed really Fs you up in this game. If you haven't got a staunching flask, I definitely recommend that you get a staunching flask, because you pretty much need it in this game now. So just talking about gem setups, in the sword I do have Val Haste. I am leveling up a couple of other gems, but nothing major in here. In the helm, I'm running Molten Shell, Castle and Damage Taken, Blood Rage, and Vulnerability. So Vulnerability will proc when I get hit. I'm always going to get hit, always taking damage, so it'll proc Vulnerability until I can get that as a ring that does it on hit, or another enchant on my gloves. Then that's the best way that I can deal with that. Talking about sockets in the chest, so we've got Shield Crush, Pulverize, because we want that huge AoE, like that. Sorry, like that. So we've got huge AoE, melee physical damage, Impale, Multi-Strike, and the most important one, which lets me do this with no mana cost. As you can see, no mana cost. I'm really impressed by this mechanic, is Life Tap. So Life Tap gives you up to 19, I believe 20% more damage while you have life Tap, and basically you have to spend life instead of mana to be able to use this skill. So what you'll notice is you get Life Tap, so your flasks recover increased amounts of life to you. Not only that, you also regenerate life as you hit as well. So you gain Life Tap after whatever, and you regenerate life. So as you can see, my life just keeps going up. So instead of having Leech, I can actually have Life Tap, and I don't need to necessarily run Leech on my melee character. This is the now most sustainable way to run melee characters. If you're running mana on a melee build, you are insane. Now you are going to lose damage slightly from what we may have run on this before, like Relentless or something like that, but this gives us so much more consistency in our ability to sustain. You're not going to run out of mana, because the only time that you're realistically going to lose in this situation is if you're not maintaining your health pool, and if you don't have any health, you're dead. So, you know, Bob's your uncle gives you incentive to want to maintain your health pool. But if you're going to play a melee character at this stage, Life Tap, pretty much the best gem for any melee character, pretty much the only way to make sustainable melee characters. That's probably the embellishment. It's not the only way, but it's the easiest way to manage this situation. Then we're looking at the gem setup in the Hemophilias. Now, I am running Reckoning. The reason why I'm running Reckoning is I do have it set up to Culling Strike. I do also have my Ancestral Protector in this setup as well, and I have Life Gain on hit. This is more of a utility skill on this build, but it does serve as a Culling Strike ability, so we don't have to have Culling Strike on our gloves or enchanted somewhere on the rest of our build, so we don't have to faff around with that. And you're always going to be blocking. Reckoning is always going to be going off, so you're pretty much going to be Culling Striking all the time. Then when you kill those enemies with the Haemophilia gloves, you're going to get Bleed Pop. So, you know, 2 birds, 1 stone scenario. In my boots, I just got Enduring Cry. Obviously,
I can't do this just
I
yet.
am running my my Call to Arms, so I have that mapped onto my move skill. And then I've also got my Shield Charge and my Blood and Sand and my faster attacks. So obviously, Shield Charge is pretty much the go-to this league for movement speed. And you would have seen in the B-roll, I move really quickly once I get my Challenger charges up on my Ascendancy for the Gladiator, and it's just a really good skill. But anyway, tree, let's have a look. So, tree changed a bit. I did a bit of tweaking. Now, I have built out into Herbalism, but I'll talk about this pretty much now. So, we'll talk about Ascendancies after. Bam, we'll bring that down. So, pretty much I took physical damage. Fuck attack speed in relation to this. These physical damage don't scale out a lot better than the attack speed. I was originally going to go attack speed, and I was like, no, that's if you're going Spectral Shield Throw, you'll take that pathing. But in my case, I'm not going to take that pathing. I'll also note this build is maximum Impale as well. We need 100% Impale to make this work in its best possible way. And as you can see, I got 120%, so we're laughing. I should have also noted in my shield, I have Dread Banner, Herald of Purity, and Pride as well. And it works really well with the Magnum Eclipse because you get +2 to gems that are in there too. So they're +2 to everything there. So just looking at my setup here, so you'll go down into your Defiance nodes first. You'll pick up Golem's Blood. Now I can drop off these 3 nodes because I'm an idiot and I can put this straight into health or damage somewhere in the build. Most likely I'll bring this down into gladiatorial combat. I'm still working with this tree and this is just a progress update, so we're still going. Then you're going to come across, you're going to come down and pick up Swift Skewering because we want those sweet Impale nodes. You'll pick up Bloodletting because we want that damage from Bloodletting. And you want this bleed chance, not the multiplier, because we don't care about multi, we just want to proc bleed so we do more damage. Then we'll come across, we'll pick up Bloodless, get Call to Arms, come up, get your Aggressive Bastion. Cannibalistic Rite. I've never used this before, and it is fantastic. What this means is when you use Life Tap on your Shield Crush, you get to recover 2% of life on kill if you've spent life. And Life Tap on your Shield Crush means you're always spending life, which means as you kill, you're always regenerating it. You also get 25% increased damage with skills that cost life. So we're basically stacking damage on costing life and regeneration on costing life. We're building a loop here. It also gives you reduced cost of life as well, and just basically overall damage. Really useful skill, really cool, really like it. Then we come up and we'll get Barbarism. You'll get Resolute Technique because you need Resolute Technique in this build. Now I did also take Vanquisher, and I've taken these Overwhelm nodes as well because we're using Impale and physical damage as well. So really good one to take. Then you'll come back up. You will go up into this area. You want to get Solidarity because we want to get our block chance up, and then all the way up to Born to Fight because we want that attack speed, strength, and physical damage. Then you'll come back up here. You'll pick up this socket node here, which we need to Regal, which has bleed chance on it as well to give us that awesome bleed and also increased bleed effect. Then you'll pick up Forceful Skewering because again, you want to stack Impale. Then you'll pick up Constitution, and basically we'll finish this whole health wheel by the time we're done. We'll probably get Path of the Warrior as well for that 16% damage increase. So the next thing that you're going to do is you'll come back down to where you started. So you'll have Art of the Gladiator. From there, you want to come up and get Command of Steel. Again, you get 5 increased attack damage per 5% of block. On attack damage, we're playing a max block character. Do the math. This is a really good stat to have. Then you'll come across again. You're going to get Heart of Oak. You're going to get Precise Interception. And you're going to get Herbalism. And this is going to stack your health up even further. Make your tankier. You could do a bit more damage with this one here. You'll do not more damage there, but you'll definitely do more damage with this. And this is just giving you increased flask recovery and life recovery from flasks. So more survivability from your flasks, which means in those critical moments when you need it, you can pop it. Now, Ascendancy wise, you're going to take Painforged first. You'll get Versatile Combatant second. You'll get Violent Retaliation third. So when you pop your guard skill against a unique enemy, so a boss like Cyrus or whatever, you get 80% increased physical damage, which is fucking huge for this character. And you're always going to be blocking, so you're always going to, and that you get up to 79% block, and that'll be based on chance to block attack damage for each time you've blocked in the past 10 seconds. So it increases as you do maps. It increases the more the boss hits you. You'll sit on about 71 to 74% block chance. So you've got a pretty good chance of surviving. There is always the one-off that you'll die to a one hit, but you know, them's the breaks when you're playing a max block character. Finally, you'll take Arena Challenger. This gives you Challenger charges, and that gives you 2% attack speed and 2% attack and movement speed per Challenger charge. So yeah, really good to have. And you just need to make sure that you're switching between your Blood stance and your Sand stance as well in maps. That's pretty much it. I'm still running Solar Linares, Solar Tukahama for physical damage reduction and movement speed with enemies. Probably can run better things. Probably could run Soul of Reslyther, but that's what I'm running. That's what I'm doing with it. Anyway, overall, really good build so far. I'm going to keep pushing this up. I will get this Killing Cyrus A9 because I'm actually really enjoying this build. It's really different. It's a really cool skill, and it scales so well once you get into the end game, and it's surprisingly fast. Is it the fastest build? No, it's not. It's not going to drop bosses in 2 hits, but the nerfs were made to stop you from doing that. Is it a really well defensive, layered, and scaled build? Absolutely. We've got mana sustain, we've got huge survivability, we got max block, we got huge armor, we got capped resistances, we got impale, we got bleed. You know, everything that we need. The only thing that it fails at is chaos resist, and that's pretty much it. Anyway, this isn't a build guide, this is just a progress update. I'll put the POB in the description for you. If you've got any questions about this build so far, feel free to type them in the comments. And yeah, don't forget to like and sub and support the channel. And until next time, have a good one, and bye.